Hey there, are you enrolled in critical race theory at Hillman Talk U or auditing the course? Well, today was our first live community session and a time was had. And if you miss it, don't worry about it. I got you. Here it is. Shout out to the community for teaching me how to do it. Check it out. So, anyway, it's great to see all of you all on this lovely Saturday morning. The Saturday sessions are just for us to rap about, what we think about the week. We've covered quite a bit this week, in terms of, the course. Let's see what we covered. Lord have mercy. We, of course, did the foundational stuff for critical race theory in terms of Derek Bell, where CRT comes from, different things of that sort. And then we moved over into Charles Mills, the racial contract. And that was the first week. And next week, we're going to move into Cheryl Harris, whiteness is property. So with that being stated, I am here live to address whatever questions, comments, insights that you all may have. We can talk about contemporary issues. We can do all of the things. All I have right now is my orange juice in my LA Dodgers cup. I'm a huge Dodgers fan. And a few things of water here just in case my voice happens to give out over the hour. Okay, Lakeisha, I think I pronounced your name right, says, I'm so behind. Oh, don't worry about being behind. That's the wonderful thing about video, right? Is that you can, hit play at any time, right? So, go ahead, jump in. There's a playlist. If you click on my profile, there is a playlist of everything for the course, from the syllabus to the lectures that we've covered in week one. And then if you're within Google Classroom, certainly they are there as well. So don't feel like you're behind. You're good, right? You can always you can definitely for sure always catch up, and you are good to go. So all that to say, don't worry about being behind. Let's see if you all have any questions, comments, concerns from the week. Let me know. Let me see. I could probably actually pull up TikTok and see if I can answer some. No problem. See if I can answer some questions live for you all that may happen to be on some of these videos until we see some other questions come in. But I will say this about CRT, right? Hopefully what you all, this class is an eye opener for the current time. Yeah, Pity. I was just scared to go there. Okay, and Sammy said you have a question from lecture 3, so I'll be sure to jump on that because I have my phone here with Dodgers background, of course. Shout out to Jackie Robinson. I'll jump on lecture 3 and see what's going on. But yeah, Pity, I was actually just scared to say that. Hey, how you doing? You're not late. You're good. We're just getting here, settle in, having a conversation, doing our thing or whatever, whatnot. But as you all can see, as Penny stated, CRT very much has significant implications for understanding our contemporary context and our present predicament. It really allows us to put things into context, right? And at the same time, I think the ways in which it is seen as a threat to the nation state probably becomes obvious, right? Around the idea of critiquing the social contract, different things of that sort, but also like for its organizing capacity, and then looking at how decisions are made, right? It's not just necessarily like, oh, the Supreme Court, says this, or the president does this, or, your local mayor happens to pass this particular legislation. It is really delving down deep into the reasoning as to why decisions are made, who's getting what, when, where, how, and why. Let's see. The political structure of race was such an eye opener for me, Pink. Oh, you know what? And I'm glad that folks are able to have these experiences, right, with this course. First of all, it's really an honor to be able to teach this course online. Because it's not too often that we get like beyond the four walls of the institution. So it's really great to offer this kind of course online and to be able to interact with folks. It's something that I really love to do. And people that know me personally know I love to be in these streets. So I'm glad that it's been eye-opening for you, right? Let's see. When you pointed out neither women nor POC were considered fully human at the time of founders. Wow. Yeah, that sets the foundation. I'm not sure if it's Jean or Jean, but that it sets really the foundation for the course for where we are at within the current context of the nation. And what's important to understand, I would say, about the United States is that the United States is very, very young in terms of world history in the establishment of nation states. And when we understand that the United States is very, very young, we are making some very teenage decisions, right? As a nation state, right? For those of you all who knows, what happens in that phase of life, right? Trying to figure things out and different things of that sort. So yeah, women, people of color, queer folk, right, were not included in the contract, and that was intentional. And then what do you do with these adaptations of the contract? That happens over time, right? We really don't see this bend toward, the liberal progressive United States really until 1954. That is Brown versus Board of Education. And when you go back and read that that opinion that comes up out of the Supreme Court, even there was caveats put within that. They literally told these states with all deliberate speed. In other words, you can go as slow as you want to in figuring out how you want to measure this out. And then after Brown versus Board of Education, we get our Civil Rights Act, our Voting Rights Act, right? We have Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who argues before the Supreme Court. The last thing that she says in her argument is that the only thing that we ask is that you take your foot off our necks, right? Speaking to men's foots being on the necks of women and the patriarchal structure of the nation, right? Which we will get to certainly in week 4 or 3 of the course, one of those two, right? So taking those things into consideration, what certain populations of the United States sees is that particular window of time from about the 1950s, I would say on up to the 80s, right? Because you're dealing with affirmative action, all that stuff. They see that as eviscerating their rights. So when folks are now saying we're taking our country back, the reason why we're starting off with the social contract is so that we can understand what contract they're referring to. This is why folks are saying, 1776. There's a reason why they keep referring to that year when they're out doing their little protest with their mask on, right? There's a reason why they're referring to that, because they inherently understand the social contract and what informs that social contract, and they're trying to get back to that. Okay, Sam, so with Trump making threats toward Greenland in that case, would it be because he sees them as more of a beneficiary in himself as a signatory? Not necessarily that he sees Greenland as a beneficiary, but he sees himself as a beneficiary and a signatory, and that he has a right in his mind, right, to what's the word I'm looking for? To utilize the power of the United States, for lack of a better term, to conquer, to take over. And we're seeing like these rollout of executive orders that keep happening, right, Sam? Excuse me, I'm going to say Samantha. I don't want to presume anybody's abbreviated name, so I'm going to say Samantha because that's what your profile says. But in any case, he sees them as a place that can be conquered, that can be taken over. Because the one thing we know about Greenland is that they are very resource and mineral rich. This is not just like for any like particular purpose. They're very resource and mineral rich, and he sees that as a thing that he should obtain as the authority, as a current authority in power in the United States, and that being able to retain that within the ownership of the United States is him having ownership of it. So that's what I would say to that. Let's see. Okay, Shonda says, I'm older, so please excuse my ignorance. How does CRT play a part of our current situation today? It seems as though we are moving toward a dictatorship. It's quite scary. Okay, so 2 things there. CRT, Shonda, first of all, thank you for being here. relates in a number of ways. Critical race theory, first of all, is an examination of law and an examination of law in nuance. So it's just not that we understand, okay, got it, Sam. So it's not just that, critical race theory is about history or sociological perspectives. CRT is about an examination of law and understanding its impact within a sociological perspective or perspective of society or political science or as it relates to women, right? Because as we will get to in week 3, what we understand is that we cannot understand race without gender. We cannot understand gender without race, that they inform one another. So an example, when we're thinking through CRT, one of the things that I use for the orientation for this course is I was in the area where the Baldwin Hills Dam used to be at. If you go back and watch that orientation video in the playlist. And the questions that a critical race theorist would ask is, what are the means by which banks came to provide mortgages in the area after the dam flooded to Black folks? Because Black folks weren't allowed to live in Baldwin Hills before then. But why are they able to live there now after white flight took place? So critical race theorists will look at the legal mechanisms of that. How did that take place, right? How are these, and even before then, as the dam was erected, right? How is it that the dam came to be erected despite several studies being done that says a dam should not have been on that hill, which came to allow, the flood to happen in that particular area. So that's just one example, but critical race theorists certainly look at and critique affirmative action, right, and what that means, and critique in this instance in meaning a good thing, right? And they also critique the people who critique affirmative action. We look at a lot of different policies and a lot of different things. Okay, I hope that answers the question. I think you said something else. It seems as though we are moving toward a dictatorship, and it's quite scary. Yes, it is scary. It is scary, and there has to be checks in place. And it does seem as though there's some level of things that are happening with the judiciary. Even from a Reagan appointee, I was like, okay, Reagan appointee, that is hopefully throwing some things, into check. But, I agree with you. These are very alarming times. The bounds of the Constitution as a social contract is being pushed, right? There are concerns that can be had about the Supreme Court. Certainly, these are uncertain times, right? And what this in effect is doing, it is testing the bounds to see how much can be gotten away with. There was one congressman who actually introduced legislation to see if they could extend a third term for Trump. And I'm just like, that was a part of the, right? So we're seeing like these adjustments of the contract, but it is scary. But there is this faith that I have somehow in folks that know how to organize and teach these subjects, that we will come out okay. At least that's the way my faith is set up. I don't believe that evil, for lack of a better term, can go on too long, that things will check and balance themselves. That's just the way I'm set up, right? Everybody's a little bit different, but I certainly agree. Okay, so Behold Brooks says, hello, really enjoyed reading the racial contract and the lessons this week. Well, thank you so much, Behold Brooke. Oh, well, your name is probably Brooke. So thank you so much, Brooke. I appreciate that, and I hope that it's meaningful to you. And I don't take for granted that people are spending their time engaging these lectures. And so I really try to do my best job with production, my best job with the information, because the number one thing that someone can give you is their time. And I want to make sure that I'm not wasting anyone's time whatsoever. I actually have some more equipment arriving so that I can step up production, because I want to make sure that I'm giving you all the best that I have. Let's see. I feel like he's trying to keep us confused and not knowing where to look. Yes, Candy, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm going down the list, so I'm pretty sure I will get to all questions in just a bit. But yes, Candy, and if you actually, there is a book by Naomi Klein. Here I go with these, with these with these book recommendations. I forget the name of the book. Hold on just 1 minute. I'm pulling it up on my phone now. Um, The Shock Doctrine. Candy, the name of the book is called The Shock Doctrine by Naomi Klein. And in that book, she goes through these different steps that, folks who aspire to be a dictator, right, an authoritarian ruler do. And one of the things one of the things that are those things is to just present just an overwhelming amount of information. Elon's doing this over here. Pete Hegseth is coming in. RFK is doing this. Here's another executive order. Oh, this court is doing this. Oh, this is falling apart over here. Now we have this crisis, right? So it is this thing, that keeps going. Oh, he dismissed the Safety Advisory Council, right? And all of these different things. The idea is just to push so much information that the national bank of attention span, if you will, is taxed. And you stress people out so much that they check out. But what we have to do, number one, is first of all, self-care is an act of resistance and also a care of sustainability. Make sure you're making time and space for yourself, but also stay aware, be able to engage, right? And there is a text, I forget who wrote it. It's right at the back of my mind. But she says in the text that it is through the everyday acts of resistance, the small things, smiling at someone, acknowledging someone's presence, etc., that growing, developing, and revolution, for lack of a better term, is made possible. So, Candy, you are right. If you check out Naomi Klein's Shock Doctrine, she speaks to that. But these are ways in which we can challenge this and get around this, right? Okay, J to the G, the social contract is white supremacy. Yes, absolutely, 110%. Let's see. Who else is here? Okay, this is exactly part of what he's trying to do. The more confused you are, the less like, oh, yes, thank you, Sam. That's exactly correct. Have you seen the documentary Spanish Lake? Similar situation. I'm going to check it out, Candy. I'm going to check it out. I'm somewhat certain like it's come across my eyes. I just can't remember. It'd be so much going on over here in my little world. But I'll definitely check it out. Okay. Feels like DEI's policies attempt to challenge the social contract. Excuse me. The current rollback shows this. Yes, absolutely. Holy Toledo XX. Yes, that is absolutely correct. And I think I cover one of these in the lecture, right? In one of these lectures, that these recent efforts of DEI, pay equity for women, the acknowledgement of queer folks, even land being returned back to Native folks, right? That all of that is seen as a challenge to the social contract. That is why, in lecture 3 of week 1, right, the most recent lecture that was posted yesterday, I started us off with that picture that's on the back of the $2 bill, because that is the moment of inception of the United States and understanding who is in that room, what they are doing and what they're about, and how those laws develop over time, right? Whether we are talking about the black codes that come immediately after slavery, whether we're talking about Jim Crow laws, whether we're talking about Japanese internment, right? Whether we are talking about, Chicano and Latino movements here in the United States, whether we are talking about, what took place, in New York in terms of Stonewall, right? That all of these moments are challenging the social contract. And this collective moment that we are in as a nation here within the United States, I know we have international people too. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are having y'all moments as well. But this moment that we're having in the United States is largely about a people who understand themselves to be beneficiaries of that contract. And they have a problem because they're not getting their just deserves, right? What they feel they deserve. So that's this moment that we're in. But you are definitely correct in saying that DEI policies, that you feel like the DEI policies attempt to challenge the social contract. You are definitely correct. And furthermore, Holy Toledo, and this is going to be touched on next week when we get into Cheryl Harris's whiteness is property. This whole thing that Trump tried to pull with the 14th Amendment, ding, 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 right? Like that's right on top of the social contract and the racial contract, saying that, okay, despite the law saying, right, that those who are born or naturalized in the United States are in fact citizens, the social contract is so reinforced that even if law itself is seen to go against the social contract or the collateral that that underwrites it, that undergirds it, which is the racial contract, law itself will be amended to affirm the rights of those who are signatories and beneficiaries to the contract. That's what that 14th Amendment situation was all about. That was a very, that moment was crazy to me, because that's what he's reaching for. So thank you, Holy Toledo. Okay, let's see. Pink Mirror says, and this can be applied to non-white people have been historically treated in the U.S. and abroad. Absolutely, 100%. Yes. Shonda, I appreciate your answer. Oh, no problem. No problem. If you have more questions, let me know. I'm here for an hour. We just chilling out and doing our thing. I'm new. Where can I find this article? You all keep mentioning the social contract. So what everyone is referring to is Charles Mills' The Racial Contract, that we read some things. We read the introduction and like the overview, first few pages of the first chapter for week 1 of this course. Because this is just a 4-week course, we didn't unpack it all, but I hope I gave enough for folks to continue on in the book and to understand the rest of it. So that is what they're referring to. And the best part about the racial contract, along with other materials that we're looking at in the course, is they are easily accessible online. You literally like type it up and a PDF will come up because they're all online, right? And if you need to know what we're reading for the course, again, please feel free to click over to my profile. There is a playlist that is there, and you'll see where I posted the syllabus, so you have access to that. Okay, I see some folks here answering the question. Okay, Samantha, the course has been fantastic. I look forward to Oh, thank you so much, Samantha. And I definitely see you, in the comments. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten about what you said about lecture 3. So I will definitely make sure I do my best to get to your question before the session ends. Let's see. Thanks for all your time and effort engaging us and teaching us in your limited free time. Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all. I am happy to be here, Miss Mac Dazzle, and do this, right? As I stated in one of the replies, earlier this week, is though I went to a private school for undergraduate, shout out to Morehouse College, I'm repping them today, my advanced degrees I received from UCLA. I don't think that's a secret at this point in time because I did an introduction video. And UCLA is a public university, and in my time there, I didn't pay for anything. So being able to offer this type course back to the public and to be able to set the record straight in terms of what critical race theorists do and how we do it and our methodologies, right, is an extreme honor to be able to do on this level. Let's see. Hey, Antoine, I took a cluster with you at UCLA. Hey, it's me. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Let's see. Okay, the executive order on CRT and K through 12 makes no sense. I'm 58, seeing things clearly. You know, at 110% with you, right? It doesn't make any sense. And really what it is a red herring, right? It's like, you're just attacking something, or a straw man argument rather. You're just attacking something that is not there. And as someone who actually teaches CRT, right, it's not that K through 12 doesn't have capacity to teach this at the at their level if they wanted to. However, we have to understand what the purpose of K through 12 education is. It is to prepare minds for citizenship, to be able to adapt folks to the nation state in which they reside. So a lot of the K through 12 education is about indoctrination. What do you mean by that? When you're walking on the line, right? Everybody remembers in elementary school, right? Walking on the line. Everybody has to walk in a straight line. We all go to lunch at the same time. We all stand and put our hands over our heart and we pledge allegiance to the flag, right? These types of things are preparing students for citizenship, but also simultaneously at the same time, what it is also doing, right, is teaching them about the social contract, what is expected of them and what they can expect. What do I mean by that? Is you are living in a certain side of town, you then become acclimated, right, to what type of resources you can expect because your school may be either super funded or underfunded. So literally schools are, the K through 12 system is an incubator for preparing students for what they should expect to receive when they graduate. And so if you think about it and journal about this and think about it carefully and how this impacts us as adults, you begin to rethink, oh my Lord, could this be why I have the expectations of myself? Could this be why I have, self-limiting thoughts on what I can do? Could it be because of where, I went to school and how resources were limited? So I think that the ceiling is here when really there is no ceiling, right? And how certain kids, are limited at certain things, but also teaching kids, right? And I want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with what I'm about to say, right? But I trust you all understand where I'm going with this. That also students of color and Black students need to know that you can do more than sports, right? That if you're a nerd and you like to crash out over books, you can do books. But also, if you're good at sports, you can do that too. If you're good at nursing and you have a passion about that, you can do that. That there is no such thing as a limit, and that at the K through 12 level, in so many nuanced and particular ways, including underfunding schools, teaches our students that. So thank you so much for that comment. The NAP ministry has a lot of discussion about rest, self-care as resistance. Absolutely. Let's see. CRT used to be a boogeyman, but it's legal analysis, everyday consumption is why DEI is easier. Very, very much true, right? It has become like this type of political target that is just like, okay, what is that, right? Unnecessarily. And really, when I think about, the struggle over CRT and what people, think about it in the pushback against CRT, much like the claims of reverse racism, if there's a pushback against CRT, what that implicitly says to me, right, as someone who works in the field, is that you are inherently aware of the inequities of society. However, there is a problem with addressing those inequities in your perspective eyes, whomever the person may happen to be, right? Because the reality of the fact is, and this is one thing that I remind my students of, that when we get into an earnest push for reconciling society and making it right, that means that we all gonna have to give something up. And this is a nation that is about me, mine, and that's and that's it, right? But when we start talking about equality and reconciling and doing the true work, that means that everyone at some level is going to have to give up something, right? Like there is no way we should have someone who is capable of giving every single citizen in the United States $1 million and still will be a multi-billionaire. That's insane. What that says to me is that the work of the rank and file every day that makes their vision in their company possible is not appreciated. But that's another story for another day because this isn't a class on capitalism. Okay, you're amazing, sir. My question is, how do we safeguard and preserve our history? First of all, thank you, DJ. Thank you so much. And the answer to that question is, first of all, a little bit like right behind me here, books, right? You gotta get in those books. You have to read, and you have to know, what's going on. And you keep it going that way. The next thing is, I am someone who, I come from a line of educators, and there is a way in which my grandmother would not allow me to not know who I am as a person. I am truly the product of a community. I was raised by educators. I had educators around me. They refused to let me slip. So there was a pride that I had in myself that even when the social contract did not authenticate, verify, if you will, and uplift me, I had those in the community around me that did. That's number two. Number three, a lot of the ways in which that we think about history can be taught differently. And this can be done interactively with your children. Take them to a museum or pass down the family history while you cooking. Now listen, now that's my side thing. Now one of these days I might have to jump on this live and show y'all what's going on in my kitchen because I don't play on the stove, okay? I'm the real, y'all better ask somebody that know me for real in real life. I gets down in the kitchen. And one of the ways in which you can pass down this history is while overcooking. We do this like this. This is where soul food originates, and the struggle comes up out of this, right? Taking a trip to those plantations and having conversations in real time. Yes, books are part of it, and I know that was number one of what I said, but also making it interactive, making it real. When moments happen, in real time, right? Having those conversations with kids or family members or your friends. One thing people in my crew will probably tell you about me is, listen, when something happens, I'm always say, and somebody's gonna say, what happened now? Like, what are you thinking about, right? So just having those conversations every day in refreshing ways, in new ways, in renewable ways, if that's the term I want to use, that it will, I should say unconventional. Yeah, not renewable. In unconventional ways that makes it accessible, that makes it tangible. And that's how you preserve that history. Also, you can acknowledge it in your home. Anyone that has been in my home will tell you it is like walking into a museum. I have pictures of everyone, everywhere, and it has never failed that someone who knows me obviously will come into my home space and say, Antoine, who is that? That opens up the conversation. Let's discuss, right? So those are some ways. 10,000 people watching. Wow. Okay. Hey y'all. At least that's what Shonda let me know. Because I'm not sure where to check the numbers at on the screen. But hey y'all, how y'all doing? Okay. Thank you. I need to catch up on videos. Have a great day. All right. Have a good one, Candy. I'm not sure if you're still here, but thank you for coming. Let's see. I'm catching up on everybody, y'all. Let's see. Da 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 da. Okay, did that. Okay, this course is amazing. I'm sharing the readings with my family. Thank you so much, Brittany. And I hope that it's resourceful, that it's helpful. I'm just doing the best that I can and doing my part. Sent a class lecture to my 83-year-old mom. We kept, hey, shout out right now. Speaking of, how to preserve the history. Listen, this is it. And don't worry, y'all. It is, by the way, some folks have been asking, will these lectures be available on YouTube? I do have them uploaded on YouTube, but right now they are unlisted because of the email that I had affiliated with that YouTube actually got hacked. So after I had put the YouTube address in, somehow the email got hacked and Google did not approve my appeal. So I will probably have to start another YouTube and get them over there. But they are on YouTube, and they will be made available. I just want to make sure that folks that are actually in the Google Classroom as well as here on TikTok has the information accessible. And again, you can go to my profile and you can click on Hillman Talk U. I think that's what it says. And it says CRT. And all of the lectures are there. And I'm so excited I didn't have to upload the lectures in pieces, but they can upload as one. I was like, yes! So I was excited to see that. So there's that. But thank you so much, Brittany and J to the G. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's the HBC. Yes, it is, Penny. 110%. You already know what's going on. Okay, so Sam again. So we know CRT isn't being taught in K through 12. Right. Removing it from a curriculum is just a way to remove teaching. Okay, listen. 110%, Sam. I'll drink to that. Yes, absolutely. You are 100% correct. School to prison pipeline. Yes. Okay, now let's talk. Oh my gosh. I have a book. Y'all, I always have a book. Oh my gosh. Where is Damien's book? Carceral Studies. Damien Sojourner. Okay, so he should be. Okay, so that means I have showed someone the book. All right. Speaking of the school to prison pipeline. So there's a wonderful book by Damien Sojourner called First Strike. And in that book, Your Hood Therapist, what Damien Sojourner argues is that the school to prison pipeline doesn't exist, but that the school in itself actually constitutes a prison because of the ways in which students are constricted and disciplined. We know that black girls are suspended at a higher rate than any other demographic, right? That's what the data bears out. That's what Kimberly Crenshaw has been able to successfully prove with the African American Forum policy, the way that rules are instituted, the way that teachers look at and understand and perceive students. Remember, we covered that in the social contract to misinterpret the world, an inverted epistemology, right? So not necessarily what Damien Sojourner will argue is what Damien Sojourner will argue, Your Hood Therapist is not necessarily a school to prison pipeline, but that the school in fact is a prison, and that school resource officers who show up actually reinforce those laws. That is what he would say. I'm just giving you a book to read and to check out, particularly when we think about officers like those who were at Uvalde who stood outside and did not help those babies, right? That's something to think about there. And then what do we do when there are whole councils of, speaking of Uvalde, what do we do when there are whole councils that are appointed, right? That let those officers go, and then when universities like UCLA appoints one of the head members of that council as the chief safety officer at the university. Hello. Just putting that out there for free. These are how things get replicated. This is how the social contract gets reinforced. And you would think that UCLA, as a leading research institution, would know better than to make those kinds of moves. There are sociologists on that campus. There are political scientists on that campus. There are psychologists on that campus. There are public policy people on that campus. These are educated people with terminal degrees in their field. And out of all the people in these United States to go pick as the chief resource officer or safety officer, if you will, or the VP of campus safety, whatever his official title is, you went and you tapped that person with your intellectual, educated self. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna get off that. Okay, it grinds my gears to see and hear this every day at my school. Listen, I feel you, Jakia. Absolutely. Okay. I'm not sure if this has been asked, but how is CRT showing up in Trump's implementation of a Department of Faith when there has been a separation of church and state? Oh, Jessica Terry, I hope you are still here. I hope you are still here because I need to give you this book. How that shows up is, check out a book by Anthea Butler. The name of the book is called White Evangelical Racism, The Politics of Morality in America. Jessica, I hope you are still here. But to answer your question in terms of how CRT is showing up in Trump's implementation of a Department of Faith when there's been a separation of church and state, it can be answered by checking out Anthea Butler's book, White Evangelical Racism, The Politics of Morality in America. And I'll just leave that there because Anthea Butler ain't no joke. Anthea Butler is the real deal. But I'll let you know now, it has a lot to do with race and reinforcing their race through whom they perceive to be their God. Remember, we checked out the Declaration of Independence in this week's lecture. I think that was week 1, lecture 2. Yeah, that was lecture 2 this week. And in the Declaration of Independence, they talk about how their God gave them unalienable rights and all of those things. So for them, there has never been a separation of church and state, but the separation of church and state comes in where those who are practicing faith practices that did not align with the nation state, that was to be separated. This has implications for our Muslim brothers and sisters, right? For those of us who may practice differently, right? May be a part of the Church of God in Christ, the AME Church, whatever have you, right? That if it doesn't align with their envisionment of God, right? Because then, there are other professors on here who are teaching about this, so I won't go too far into that because then I'm going to end up. Yeah, okay. But that's to answer your question, Jessica Terry. Okay. Yes, let's see. Yes, there needs to be an active discussion that everyone can find their thing. Absolutely. Brittany, and this is why I feel like educators who are Black are so important to the case. Yes. Yes, Brittany. Yes. Okay. New York City middle school ELA teacher here. Appreciate you deeply. Oh, well, thank you so much, Miss Lotto. I hope you are still here. I hope I'm also pronouncing your name correctly. I appreciate you for working with the babies. Listen, we all have a gift in this world, and we're all trying to bring it to the table and sort this out, right? So, I don't have the answers to everything. Listen, because if a car breaks down, I know some basic stuff, but I'm calling my daddy when it gets to the difficult stuff, all right? So that's what it is. Everyone has a gift in this world that they can bring to the table to help move us forward. Okay, let's see. Can you recommend a book list, please? Hey, Shonda, hope you're still here. Yes, absolutely. Oh Lord, I see, I see my brother in here. Hey, Morale, so he can cook. So that lets me know how far behind in comics I am. Hey, Morale. That's y'all. That's my Philly family right there. So shout out to my peeps in Philadelphia. I absolutely love that city. I just cannot do y'all cold weather. I gotta come see y'all in the summer. Y'all check me out. I'll be around the museums. Morale to have me around there. So Philly, New York, I love y'all. But Shonda, if you go back and watch the lectures, I'll try to keep track of them. I believe so far I have recommended Black Marxism by Cedric Robertson, the Contested Murder of Latasha Harlins by Brenda Stevenson, which is somewhere up here in my collection somewhere. Actually, it may be on the desk because I had to pull it. What else have I recommended? They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima. Of course, today I mentioned Naomi Klein's The Shock Doctrine, Anthea Butler's text, White Evangelical Racism, as well as Damian Sojourner's First Strike. I'm going to have to watch this back so I can write that down for you, Shonda. And I will make sure I publish it somewhere by the time this is done. Scotty says, I loved hearing stories from my grandparents while cooking and gardening. Yes, I'm telling you, that's where the knowledge is passed down, right? If your grandparents are still alive, sit at their feet and shut your mouth. I promise you, it'll bless you if you let it, all right? And Scotty, I also saw, I'm coming because I saw your questions. You and Sam had questions that I'll be addressing as well. Sam says, I have a list of books he's recommended so far through the class. Oh, okay. Let me get up out of that conversation. My bad, Sam. You got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let's see. Let's see. I learned so much of our history while snapping beans with my listen. Yes, who taught you to hate yourself? Come on, Malcolm X. I see you there for your profile name. But yes, while snapping beans with my grandmother in the kitchen. I have a picture of my grandfather and I in his garden. And when I tell you that was just an exchange, and listen, for those of you all who know what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. Sometimes things are communicated without them even being communicated. There are things that those who came before us experienced that has been so deeply impacted to their psyche and who they are that it cannot be communicated. But in that moment of cooking, snapping peas, whatever have you, it's communicated and you get it. This is why getting in the books back here is important, because you then begin to understand your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, and your great-grandparents and what they went through. And as we say in the Black community, what's understood does not need to be explained. Right? And there's that. Okay. Shauna says it's 15K now. Okay, well thank you, Shauna, for keeping me aware of the count, because help me. Let's see. Love this discussion. I'm Native Hawaiian and our history isn't taught on the mainland at all. That is Brooke. Brooke, let me tell you something. I don't have to tell you something. I'll just say it out loud because you already know. If you all want to read some interesting colonial history, check out what the United States did to Hawaii. I'm going to leave that there. Now, you want to talk about a social contract and how it works out? Y'all check out what's going on over there in Hawaii. On top of looking at what Mark Zuckerberg is doing over there, particularly to native lands that are sacred in Hawaii, y'all got to get into this. In other words, what I'm hinting toward that Brooke already knows is that colonialism isn't an end thing. That didn't end in the 1800s. Colonialism is an ongoing project because at the moment that colonialism ceases to exist, all Western nation states fall to the ground. Just putting it out there for free, right? Lily says, hello, hello. Stephanie Gibbs, thank you, Professor. Very informative. No problem, Stephanie Gibbs. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Oh, replying to Brooke. Okay. Replying to Penny. Okay, cool beans. And I love the fact that y'all are having conversations with one another. This is great. This is the community. This is what I was hoping that would happen. This is awesome. Okay, how can the people change a social contract? Attempts like amendments help, but not really. You know what? J to the G. Correct. Because what we know is that amendments simply reinforce what is. That absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? And that power does not concede anything easily. And the things that we have to really ask ourselves is, you said how can the people change the social construct, not a contract? My bad. Okay, so how people begin to change a social construct. Now listen, some of y'all are not gonna like this answer, but it is what it is. Haiti is very instructive. I'll leave that at that. If you know, you know. If you don't know, go find out. Because Haiti wasn't playing no games. And that's what it takes to change a social construct. Yes, it's not going to be pretty. It wasn't pretty to establish a nation state. It's not going to be pretty to destablish it. Just letting you know what it is. And let's talk about Haiti for a quick minute here, right? Like just a few seconds, right? Because I believe they recently had their Independence Day. Listen, Haiti had the world shook, y'all. I need y'all to understand how Haiti had the world shook down, inclusive of the United States, because those who were enslaved in the United States had got word of what was going down in Haiti, and they was like, word, we can do that same thing. And still to this day, the nation state of France still has their foot on Haiti's neck, demanding that they pay taxes, even though they are a free nation. Let's be very clear. The poverty of nation is structurally and socially constructed and superimposed. What do I mean by that? Their resources are intentionally restricted by the United States, by France. You all can look this up, right? You got to get into these things. And this is part of why sharing knowledge is so important. You all look up this relationship that exists between Haiti and France and what's still going on, right? So when they have an earthquake, even though there's resources there are colonial powers there that extract those resources, that pull those resources out. Right? And we can also talk about the ways in which nonprofits, U.S. nonprofits specifically, being on the island nation of Haiti is actually continuing to be a hindrance to the nation state of Haiti, as opposed to getting out of their way and letting them be the very resource rich, tongue twister, and valuable nation that they are. Y'all don't sleep on Haiti. Haiti is powerful. Shout out to all the Haitians in the house. Cheers to y'all if y'all in here. Shout out. All right, so let's see. There's a documentary called Preschool to Prison on Amazon Prime. I need to watch this. Okay, so y'all check out what Sarah's talking about. Sarah says there's a documentary called Preschool to Prison on Amazon Prime. Check it out. I need to check it out myself. All right, good question. Okay, Jessica Terry says, I'm here and I'm tuned in. Hey, Jessica. Glad you were here. I was so hoping you was here. I was like, oh no, I'm a little bit behind in the questions, but I'm coming. Okay, I would love a list of books. Okay, got it. I'll make sure I do that. Our lecture's recorded because I just made it in. Rage, yes, you are definitely in luck. The lectures are absolutely recorded. So because you are just now making it in, that's okay. If you go to my profile, you click on my profile, you will see a playlist that says Hillman Talk U CRT. And every thing that's kind of sort of critical to the course is there, including the lectures. So you have the orientation, and then you start with week 1, lecture 1, week 1, lecture 2, week 1, lecture 3. And we are moving into week 2 this week. If you want to catch up with us, excuse me, we'll be reading Whiteness is Property by Cheryl Harris. You can find that online. All you do is type in Whiteness as Property by Cheryl Harris. And if you can, catch up with the lectures from this past week, because that the foundation of understanding the social contract and the racial contract is going to be really, really critical to understanding what Cheryl Harris is getting at in Whiteness as Property. And I'm telling y'all now, put some super glue or whatever you need on your edges, your wigs, and everything else, because Cheryl Harris is going to be snatching on everything. Whiteness as Property is a deep text. Every time I read that text, I've read it multiple times at this point in time. Every time I read it, I pull away with something else. So be ready for that. Okay, let's see. Right. And what will happen when they realize... J to G, yes. Yes. Because what did the book of Revelation say about, let me get out of that. Y'all, yes. Penny Love says Christian nationalism. Absolutely. Jessica Terry, right? Because, listen, y'all are having some good conversations down here in this chat. I know that's right. Strong arm compliance. I'm loving the course. Thank you for your work. No problem, Jessica. Yes, my boys were homeschooled about 8 of 12 years. Yes, for sure. For sure. And I'm just catching up here, y'all. Sorry, I know I'm a little bit behind. Hey, I tried to, oh, that's Sam talking to someone. Okay. Cass is so good at showing various social contracts around the world. Yes. Yes, JTG. And the funny thing is, right, when you go back and watch the lectures, this is why Charles Mills was so clear in the racial contract, that no matter the articulation of the nation state, right, whether it be democracy, whether it be liberalism, whether it be authoritarian, whatever have you, that these are all different articulations of white supremacy. That's what Charles Mills was getting at in that text, right? So what he's arguing is that it all ends up under the racial contract, right? Excuse me. And there's that. Okay, Planeta says, thank you for the book list, writing it down. You're so welcome. And I think Sam also has the book list as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Y'all are having some conversations down here in this chat, and I am with it. I love this. This is what community is all about. Let's see. I also loved John McWhorter winning the race. Okay, there's another book recommendation. Y'all check that out. Yes, my grandmother passed away at 103 about 5 years ago. Many stories. Listen, facts are facts. Intuitive ancestral pity. We see each other. Yes, Penny. Okay, let's see. All right, let's see. When Affirmative Action was white, it was a good book. So, that was to someone. Okay, my bad. I'm trying to stay out of y'all conversations. Y'all having good conversations. Okay, morale. What U.S. did to Hawaii is disgraceful and shameful. Oh, very true. Very true. Right. Excuse me. Very true. I'm telling y'all look up that history. Y'all look up the United States in that history. Let's see. I would like a book list as well. Jakia, someone has it around here. And after this is done, I will have to scroll back through these lectures to find out what I said, and I'll keep a list. So that way, when we reach the end of our time together, I can populate a list, and I'll have to create another YouTube by that time. Say, hey, y'all can find me over here, and see if we can get another course going. Let's see. Sarah says, I remember people's entitlement during the Maui fires and how they didn't want to cancel. Sarah, we see each other. We see each other, and how they didn't want to cancel their trips. Absolutely. They still insisted that Hawaii was theirs to go to. And that is that colonial mind, that inverted epistemology that Charles Mills is talking about. So these things aren't theoretical. This is what he means by the racial contract is real, right? Gangsters of Capitalism is a book discussing the history of U.S. imperialism and its ingrained racism. Listen, I am here for the other book recommendations that are showing up in our community here. All right, so Gangsters of Capitalism, there you have it. Thank you so much, Pink Mirror. Penny says, hey, how you doing? if anyone would like a book, okay, here we go. So Sam says, if anyone would like the book list, please send her a DM. I believe Sam's pronouns are she, her, hers. If not, please let me know, Sam. If anyone would like the book list, please send me a DM. It won't let me message most people, but I'm happy to send it. So listen, first of all, and thank you, Sam, so much for doing that community work. Sam is on top of it, and I appreciate you so much, Sam. We are on our way to Haiti. Okay, shout out. Revolution is the only way to change it. Listen, facts are facts. I have learned there is no change. Somebody's getting it. Come on, Jessica. Help somebody. Oh, Marcelo's in here. Yo, Marcelo. I did not even see you, Marcelo. What's up? Marcelo is someone who knows me in real life, y'all. If y'all see Marcelo Clark somewhere down in these comments, Marcelo is someone y'all need to look out for. I'm just letting y'all know that right now. Marcelo is an outstanding person who is in community. He is really a type of person that I would refer to as a scholar practitioner, someone who just isn't in the classroom, and someone who just isn't only like aware of theory and different things of that sort. Marcelo actually walks this stuff out, y'all, like in the streets, right? What was that, Marcelo? I want to say last spring quarter. I believe it was last spring quarter when everything popped off at UCLA. Marcelo erected a community of care overnight, pulled resources together, pulled the money together. Marcelo is the real deal. And Marcelo is in the tradition. I'm just brag on Marcelo for a little bit, if y'all don't mind, for about 20 more seconds. Marcelo is in the tradition of a Derek Bell, of a Kimberly Crenshaw, someone who does the studies, who is aware of the book, who is in and out of text. I hope Marcelo is still in here because these flowers are well-deserved. Who is in and out of the books, but also puts that stuff on the ground. Now, I really want to say something else, but I'm not sure if I can cuss on TikTok Live. But Marcelo really takes it out of the classroom and puts it into the streets. And Marcelo is pursuing the PhD, and I have no doubts will do very well. So y'all keep y'all ears out for Marcelo. Doing great work in Los Angeles and throughout the state of California. So thank you so much, Marcelo, for your work. Okay. Karen Call 971 says, I am learning the Haitian revolutionary. Listen, there's a lot to be learned there. The U.S. be messing with everyone and then acting surprised at a blowback. Listen, Scouty, yes. Listen, like, oh my gosh, me? Yes. Listen, Scouty, yes. You will have no argument from me about that whole situation, right? You can't intervene in these particular type kind of ways, right? Causing coups everywhere, doing all of this stuff, and then when the blowback happens, it's just like, oh snap. Yeah, the reality of the fact is, at least as I was taught when I was coming up, listen, if you hit somebody, you better be prepared for that hit back. And I was also taught you don't throw the first blow, right? So yeah, I certainly agree with you on that one, Scouty. Let's see. Thank you for your time, your energy. Of course, no problem. No problem. Let's see. I'm scrolling, y'all. I'm catching up. I promise I'm catching up. Not TikTok said some comments were filtered to protect the community's experience. All right. I don't know what that was about, but hey, all right. Thank you for your time, effort, support, and intelligence. Oh, no problem. Is it Michaela? That's a beautiful name. I love that, Michaela. I hope you're still here. That's a beautiful name. OMG, I just got to class. Adrian, that's okay. You can catch up. All you gotta do, Adrian, is go to my profile, look on Hillman Talk U. Excuse me, look on Hillman Talk U, and everything right there from orientation up to this week's lectures is available. And the best part, Adrian, is it's all like the lectures are in one piece. I thought I was going to have to like break them up and do them that way. They're all in one piece. So shout out to TikTok for that. Thank you all so much for making that possible. Now they're also, let's see, Scotty, we see each other. We see each other. All right. Shout out to Samantha. The chat is loving Sam. So thank you, Sam. Thank you so much. Let's see. Don't hype me. I just be here. Marcelo, that is not true. I am going to give Marcelo the flowers that are due. Listen, you pay homage where homage is due. So I'm gonna hype you. I'm gonna hype you. Was this recorded so I can catch up, Professor? This one is just live. We just who is that? That's Adrian. Adrian, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, please help a brother out. This live, we just kicking it. We just talking about the issues. This one isn't necessarily recorded. I actually think there might be a way that TikTok allows me to download lives. But it would just, I think when it plays back, it's just me like talking. I'll have to see if it allows me to download the live, Adrian. If it allows me to download the live, if you all would like for me to put it, under the CRT playlist on my profile, please let me know. Comment below and let me know. If not, if you would like for this just to remain an intimate space, like this is what we do on Saturday mornings, that's fine too, right? But just let me know what the community would like to see, and I'll see if I can make it possible. But first I have to see if they allow me to actually download the entire live. They may or they may not, right? Couldn't do it without you. Now, Marcelo, that is not true. Marcelo, that is definitely not true. Reverend Sam, thank you so much for sharing the live. I see you sharing the live there. Daddy said I better not start anything, but if they like that part, Scotty, same thing. My pop said the same thing. Like, listen, don't start nothing, but if they started, you better finish it. Put a period on it. My dad was like, and if you come back in here and the job ain't done, you going back outside. Now, those of y'all who was raised in a certain area, you know what's up, right? A lot of professors are being shadow banned. I didn't see you on my For You. Yeah, KF. I saw some TikToks talking about shadow banning, but listen, as my grandmother taught me, one monkey don't stop no show, so we just keep it moving forward, right? And we do the best I can, and I trust that it will reach the people that it's supposed to reach. And we go from there. I'm gonna still keep pushing it out there. I'm gonna still keep putting it out there. You said right. Okay, Adrian, cool. Yes, you okay. Tony says yes, I can download the live. Okay, well, thank you so much. Listen, each one teach one. So I'm assuming that when I end this, it'll be available. So I download it. Okay, I say looks like Joanna says yes. And let's see here. Oop. Okay, there we go. TikTok asked me to verify something really quickly to continue the live. Okay, anyway, so Joanna says, yes, let's meet every Saturday. Yes, I'll definitely be meeting every Saturday at noon, Joanna, throughout this lecture series. We just gonna get up, we gonna shoot the breeze, we gonna do what we do. I'm having a hard time finding the reading originating Standing Your Ground online. Okay, got it. Mimsy, originating Standing Your Ground is by Marcus Lee. Let me think of a way that I can somehow get that to folks. I know some people were able to access it, but let me think of a way. Excuse me. If you all have any ideas, please let me know. Because that is Marcus Lee's text, and it's very important because it's talking about stand your ground laws, which is going to play into whiteness as property. The readings are arranged in a specific way for a very specific reason. Marcus Lee is a very brilliant individual who's actually a professor at Princeton, who came out of Morehouse, and his piece is something that I teach in almost every course that I teach. Is really, really good. Oh my gosh, hey Miss Barbara, how are you? Please, professors, put CRT list. I was late to the live. Oh, okay, got it. The live. Put the live in list. Okay, got it. Well, Miss Barbara, what someone told me is that I should be able to download the live when I'm done. So I'm gonna do my best to figure that out. and then we'll just upload the replay, right? So everyone can see what happens on Saturdays. We just shoot in the breeze and seeing what's going on. Miss Barbara, I certainly appreciate you being here. I see you in the comments, and I see you around. I do appreciate your presence. Just want to let you know that. I wonder where does white entitlement originate from? What point in history do we first see it? Listen, if this were African Americans in U.S. history, the early part of the course, and this is asked by Brittany, by the way, where I start that course off on is I start right after the Moors taught Europe everything they knew. Did y'all hear what I just said? That the Moors of North Africa taught Europe everything they knew. They took over their aqueducts. They took over their philosophy, math, all of the things. Okay, they took over their gold. They took all of those things. And as time went on, somebody wanted that for themselves and saw Africa as, and I'm speaking continental Africa, and saw Africa as something that they should be entitled to. And they used the church as a means to do so. And all of these decrees came from the Pope. I need to teach this class. Look up things like the Dum Diversis, the Inter Caetera. These are documents that, Brittany, this is to answer your question. This is what comes up out of the church, right? And when these documents come up out of the church down to the throne, this will be Queen Elizabeth and her family and all of them, right, who still have the Star of Africa in the scepter. When the documents come down from the church, what we necessarily know as the Catholic Church today, they divide Africa up because they want it for themselves, because the Moors pulled out, just like the 92% is pulled out and said, we not protesting no more. Y'all get out there and make it happen yourselves. The same thing happened back then, right? And so the Pope came in and said, listen, here's the Dum Diversis, here's the Inter Caetera, here's the Romanus Pontifex, I believe is the name of the document. And they split up Africa and they started to use all of the technologies that they have been taught, and they inverted them and start to weaponize them. And that is where the entitlement originates from. I could go a lot further, but we're going to stop right there because this is not African Americans in U.S. history part 1. But that's to get you started, Brittany. Look up those documents and we'll go from there. All right. So let's see. All right. So let's see. Okay, that was a comment. Okay, go to profile of each person. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Is that Lily Lux? Thank you for that. Oh, Makala, it's 32,000 people on here. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? We just in community, y'all. We just vibing. Let's see. It requires a student account. I'm a student. I could probably access it. Okay, cool. I see y'all are helping each other out. Yay, I really enjoyed this live. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you a lot, Sam. Excellent. I'll be here at noon each Sunday through the semester. I'll be here. I'll be here. The Lord willing and the creek don't rise. I'll be here. Let's see. I'd like to recommend creating a Google Doc that is public with links to articles. You know what? Okay, Kriya. I thought about this. The only concern that I have is that the Gmail account that I created for this experience was hacked. This is why I have not opened up a Google Drive, because I want people to be able to access resources and information without, people hating on the experience. We can all learn together. Listen, there's even white folk who are taking this course who are learning some things, right? And everybody's implicated here, right? Excuse me. Because on the highest of keys, they're implicated in the racial contract too, right? Because whiteness has its own definition. It is informed by gender. It is informed by class, right? And you got to understand where you fall at. And you got to understand, listen, this is why, oh Lord. Now, Kriya, why would you send me down this road? Y'all know the way my mind works at this point in time. Listen, this is why working class folk at this point in time are having a freak out attack, because they thought that Trump was talking about them, only to look up and understand that they have been left high and dry with the dust blowing in the wind down the trail as they wave goodbye. That's another story for another day. But nonetheless, okay. Once a month, you should host your live at a place where we can meet locally here in Metro Atlanta. Now, Joanna, I'm based out of LA, but Atlanta is home. And I will come to Atlanta. And we will have a time, because anytime I'm in Atlanta, oh, it's a time. It is a time because I'm back home. Atlanta is my home. Now, I was born in Orlando, Florida, but Atlanta raised me. I am a son of Atlanta. So I have no problems, doing a meetup, so we can discuss. But I don't necessarily want to do the venue, and then there's nobody there and I'm talking to an empty room. So we'll work on it. But I do love coming home. And Joanna, I do think that's a great idea, and I would love to do that. J to the G says, and there it is, church again. uh Y'all are funny. Let's see. I wrote down some books, The Racial Contract, Cheryl Harris's Whiteness is Property. Yes. Oh, and Adrian, by the way, if you're looking for what we'll be reading in the class, if you go to my profile, click on Hillman Talk U, CRT, you'll see it there. It's the only playlist there. And you'll see where I posted the syllabus, Adrian, and it'll have all the readings there. Let's see. Oh, yes, almost $30 for the essay. Oh, no, nobody should definitely not be paying for that essay. Please do not pay. Oh, no. Okay, I got to work that out. I got to work that out. Yeah, let me think. I got to work that out. Okay, because I'm really trying to do this. It's you all not okay. Let's get into the politics of this, right? Because I believe it's Mimsy who typed this in there. This is a way in which knowledge is kept locked up, right? Not only behind this expensive tuition that goes on with universities, but also because the knowledge that you need is held up by publishers as well as the owners of the journals in which these articles are published to try to benefit. Y'all get where I'm going with that. Okay. Critical Race Feminism book. Oh, yeah, I did recommend that, Adrian, in one of the things. I did hold. You are so right, Adrian. Okay, I need to do better. Okay, Adrian, I promise I'm going to get on it. My bad. Because I did recommend the Critical Race Theory book. I think this was like the first lecture in. There's a Critical Race Theory book. There's the Critical Race Feminism book as well. I would definitely put that on the list. Okay, wait a minute now. I see a person from Orlando in here. Now wait a minute now. Okay, I see you. Orlando, listen, we can have a conversation because I grew up in Richmond Heights. My grandmother lived on Dobie Avenue over in the Orange Center area. My family's home church was St. Mark AME under Pastor Sam Green, Lily Lux, if you know who that is. And then we also attended Mount Olive down the way, if you know the areas that I'm referencing. Then I moved on the east side of town. My mom moved us to the east side of town, and I ended up going to Colonial. So I see you, Lily. All right, so I'm there for the Los Angeles regional meeting. Okay, listen, LA, hey, we can make that happen too. I'll have to see, how folks feel about it. Okay, can you just send me the? Oh, that was Sam. Okay. Your tagline, another story for another day, because history is vast on this topic. Yes, the hungry medium, very, very much so, very much so. And I have to work on stopping myself, right? Because if I don't, then I'll end up going into it. And you all will be like, this brother's all over the place. We will travel, set up the event through Eventbrite and charge a few. Yes, I'm pro get your coin. I'm not mad at that. It's lush. I feel you. I have to work it out where we can just get up, we can all have a good time, maybe put out a survey in terms of seeing where people are located and see what we can do. Scotty says everything's paywalled. Yeah, which is crazy, right? All right, so I'm not gonna read that part out loud, but y'all see what Tara said down there, because I don't want to get Tara bombarded, but y'all see what Tara said down there, and go ahead and get what you need. Anyway, yep, art is also kept away from the public too. Also, very, very true in terms of folks acquiring art, because art prompts us to think, right? This is why I started off lecture 3 of week 1 looking at the painting that had to deal with recalling the negotiation and the signing of the Declaration of Independence. There is a lot in that painting, Jennifer. You are 100% right. And when people acquire these paintings, what is being kept from the public and what does it keep the public from thinking through and about? Now, Jennifer, you also have my wheels turning, because what does it mean for certain people to only be able to afford art, right? I'm pretty sure there's a professor on here that's dealing with art history and the politics of art and different things of that sort, particularly when these folks are buying art like Basquiat. And when we see folks like Basquiat that are now having an afterlife, if you will. So at what point in time, like if we want to, like think through this, at what point in time is the black body permitted to rest? And how is Basquiat consistently called from the grave to do the work of capitalism on behalf of an estate that he does not own? Somebody might have said slavery by another name, but I'm gonna leave that alone. All right. I just learned about Afro Cobra during a Bisa Butler talk. I had no idea, and very relevant for now. Shout out. Okay, let's see. SM Lee. Should the 92% in allies really disconnect, or will it create a vacuum like Moore's and things get worse? Okay. SM Lee, this is a good question. What I believe, first of all, I support black women. I just want to say that flat out. And what black women have made very clear in this hour, they have termed themselves the 92%. I believe that's the correct term. And what they have said is, listen, we have worked, we have struggled. And not only in the present moment, in terms of organizing around the most recent presidential campaign, but I'm talking about from Sojourner Truth to Ida B. Wells to Harriet Tubman, right? To Audre Lorde, to who's our dear sister up here, Elaine Brown, right? And I, first of all, I am not a black woman. I don't identify as a black woman, but what I take black women to be saying, and there are some black women in this chat, so y'all correct me if I'm wrong. What I take black women to be saying is, we tired, we ain't lifting your stuff no more. You want this to be resolved, you work that out. And in that moment, rest is radical and it is self-sustaining. And if it creates a vacuum, well, before I go to the vacuum part, let me say this, that calling black women back to get on the front lines, I'm not saying that this is what your question was saying, but calling black women back to the front lines saying, help us organize, help us do this. Black women are no longer your mammies. Get up and do that ish for yourself. Now, if I wasn't sure whether or not if I could cuss on live, I'd just say ish, right? And that is what they're saying in terms of let us rest. Now, will it create a vacuum? Here's my thing. The vacuum is already created because people have effed around and people are finding out in real time. Food stamps have been rolled back, right? Section 8 has been rolled back. But what we instinctively have as a people that has been born out by black women, right, is how to survive in these times. Now, y'all give me like 30 seconds and I'm gonna be off this, I promise. How to survive in these times. This ain't black folks' first time up in this joint. We took a pig and made chitlins. You understand what I'm saying? We took a plant and made collard greens. You understand what I'm saying? We took the undesirable parts of the chicken and thrown up, fried chicken. What am I saying in this moment? That it is not the work of black folk and black women in particular to rescue the nation at this point in time. Because whenever the nation goes to ish, fill in the blank, y'all, I'm trying. For some reason, it always becomes the work of black folk. When the economy crashes through the floor, who do they go get? Barack Obama. Now, we can talk about those politics later, but I'm just saying just for now. Y'all just work with me, right? Who to go get? Barack Obama. When there is a crisis of consciousness, now some of y'all might be mad at me on this one now, and I'm gonna take the punch. I'm gonna take the punch, okay? I'm telling y'all that now. I'm gonna take the punch. When Joe Biden assumes the presidency, his first words going in is, I'm going to only run one term, and I am trying to make sure that I get up out of here, only to bounce at the very last possible minute, only for Kamala Harris to come in and try to run this campaign and get it done. Do you see the type of stuff that black women are talking about? Because, first of all, she did an amazing job for this finite window of time, right? Regardless of where your politics may lie at, you have to respect the hustle, because Sister Girl pulled that off in that few amount of time, despite Joe Biden decided at the last minute that he was going to do it. So what black women are saying in this hour is that they are tired. And if it creates a vacuum, then it creates a vacuum, because we know how to survive instinctively. Where is, y'all, hold on. I am looking for, I see 2 books back here that I need to refer y'all to. First book, When and Where I Enter, The Impact of Black Women on Race and Sex in America by Paula Giddings. If you don't have this book, you need to get this book. You need to get this book. This right here is the deal, okay? Now, in regard to that question more specifically, this is the next book by Tara Hunter, To Joy My Freedom, Southern Black Women's Lives in Labor after the Civil War. In this book, this book is so good. I'm gonna tell y'all the opening scene on this book, and I'm not gonna tell y'all the rest of it, but I'm telling y'all, get these two books right here, right? And what happens in this text is Tara Hunter, very much, history only repeats itself. Tara Hunter recalls the labors of black women after the Civil War and how black women got tired and said, we're not doing nothing else. This ain't the first time black women have done this. And what happened in this book, by the way, is based in Atlanta. And what happened, by the way, is that black women were working the hotels, were, doing folks' laundries, they were the washerwomen, etc. And they said, we tired, we ain't doing no more. And you want to know what happened? Atlanta fell through the ground. Black people built it back up, and that's how it became the Black Mecca today that they're trying to change over and take back possession of, right? And the way that this book, so get this if you want to understand more intimately the historical the historical context of black women protesting for a nation, working for a nation, not being appreciated, and pulling back. This is the blueprint. This ain't nothing new, right? Please get into this. But the opening scene of this book, and then I'm gonna get back into the comments because I see y'all and I want to make sure I answer questions. The opening scene of this book is a black woman who was enslaved, and the plantation master comes in and basically says, "Gal, get up and answer that door." You don't hear the door, and she is doing an act of resistance, and she is in the mistress's makeup in her room doing her makeup, and so she gets busted during this time because the doorbell is ringing, and she turned around and told that plantation master, answering doorbells is played out. That is literally what she said. Is a part of the archival record. Who knew that played out has been around that long? And that is the beginning of understanding black women's resistance post-Civil War. You all get this book. Get this book. I promise you, it's a page turner. Even there's even a scene in this book. I'm not gonna give it all the way. I'm gonna tell you this one last scene. There's even a scene in this book where some sisters took it to the street because somebody tried to undercut their business. Okay, and if you're from Atlanta, you already know it's knuck if you buck. It's always been knuck if you buck. Okay, that ain't nothing new. Get this book. It'll help you. And then this book gives you black women's labors, and resting from labor, etc. After the Civil War. This talks about black women's contribution to American history and why in this moment they are saying, we are resting. When and Where I Enter by Paula Giddings, To Joy My Freedom by Tara Hunter. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I had to put that out there. Thank you so much for that question. I hope that answered your question. Number one. Let's see. Okay, cool. I wasn't too far off then. Black women, if y'all are in here, I hope I said that correctly. If not, y'all please cuss me out and let me know that that I'm wrong. I am not perfect. They're also not being honest and willing to not have a conversation about how we all got. Yes, Jessica. Okay, thank you, Miss Barbara. I appreciate it. Miss Barbara says that the 92% is correct. Okay, it's okay to say. Okay, let's see. Okay, cool. This is good. This is good. Okay, we are tired. Listen, real. We are taking care of our own. Period. Okay. J to the G says it's a social contract fight. They made it clear we are not a priority. We need to take care of us. I mean, facts are facts, right? And not only have they made it clear that it's not a priority. Y'all, I am way over this 1 hour, but we having a good time, so we just gonna roll with it. I'll see if I can do about maybe 30 more minutes. But anyway, yeah, we are not a priority, right? And it's not stable, right? Because in the moment that George Floyd happens and all of this and all these DEI policies roll out, they roll out because they're advantageous through capitalism. But in the moment in which they see that, oh my goodness, we can get what we need without doing all of that, then it gets rolled away because our boy is in the seat and he's going to make sure that we get it. Right? That's what happens in that moment. Okay, Brittany says it's time for everybody else to listen. It's time for everybody else to fight for the rights we made happen. Hello. Okay. And we get walked over every time. He knew she wasn't. Listen. Yes, Adrian. Yes, Adrian. Right? And now listen now. Adrian, I'm going to say 5 seconds on it, Adrian, and then I'm going to step off of it. We also need to talk about Nancy Pelosi. Y'all go back and study California politics. This ain't the first time Nancy Pelosi has encountered Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is not a student of Nancy Pelosi. That has always been a tense relationship politically. I'm going to leave that there. All right? I'm just pointing you toward the direction. Do what you want to do with that. All right? Okay. So Michaela has said that the readings have been uploaded to a Dropbox. Shout out to Michaela. This is what I'm talking about. Community work. Community work. That's what I'm talking about. So if you need the readings, get it there. Okay, I see some people taking advantage of that. Thank you so much, Michaela, and thank you so much, Sam, for y'all making these readings and book lists accessible for everyone. We are at CRT Church this morning. Well, hey, we vibing, right? Okay, and white women particularly told us to our face that listen, that they were not going to anymore. Yet, listen, thank you. I agree. I'm tired, but it's also hard having to watch. And essentially, this is where you pull away. Listen, on this side of me right here, there is a TV. That TV turns is off most of the time because what I have prioritized is my peace. Whatever I need to know somehow always finds its way to me, right? And I'm taking this time, what I'm using as rest and rejuvenation are moments like this, moments like Hillman Talk, right? It's really allowed me like just to reconnect and restore, right? And I'm thankful for that. We're repeating history. Yes, Lush. Yes. Repeating history. 110%. Oh, Marcelo's still here. What's up, Marcelo? Okay. Although I was unaware, look how history repeats itself. Yes. Yes. Who taught you to hate yourself? I'm telling y'all, just right here. Right here. I'm telling y'all. And if y'all would like to get into some theoretical stuff, this is the first black Black feminist anthology that was put together by Beverly Guy Sheftall. Words of Fire, anthology of African American women feminist thought. How Black women have thought through political issues. How Black women have thought through everyday life, living lives of intersectionality. It's all in here. It's all in here, right? That's another recommendation. I'm sorry. I know I'm just throwing book titles out there. I'm trying to do better, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Let's see. Black women worldwide need to rest. South Africa. Shout out to South Africa, baby. Shout out to South Africa, Ingrid. I know y'all are in listen in the throes over there. Lord have mercy. Because if Elon is any type of representation, what y'all got go, whoo, good Lord. I'm using my energy to, I know that's right, Jessica. Let's see. Okay, I'm scrolling through, y'all. I'm scrolling through. I'm coming. Can change happen without blood spilling? It can happen. It's just that you're gonna be asking people to give up stuff. It can happen. It can most certainly happen. But what you're asking is that folks give up stuff who are used to holding that stuff in. Hardly anyone is fighting the executive order on DEI. Folks are tucking their tails. Evident. Yes. Right? Because again, DEI is seen as opposite that of the social contract. If you go back to week 1, lecture 2, right, where we break down the Declaration of Independence, the latter part of that says when the government takes on a form that is in disagreement with the contract, it is the right of the people, meaning the signatories, we already went through who that is, to abolish or amend the government as they see fit. And that's what's happening in this hour. That's what that presidency is all about. It's about realigning the nation to the social contract. Okay, more hoes? Okay, sorry, I had to put that out there. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. That was a whole moment. I know some of y'all like, what just happened? That was a whole moment. That was between me, ATC, Q718. If you know, you know. Okay. Let's see. TikTok tells me, great job. You've gone live for 90 minutes. Don't forget to take a break. I'm coming, TikTok. I'm coming. We just vibing and having a good time. Hillman Talk has been so helpful for my mental health. Isn't it a beautiful space? It's a beautiful space to just retreat and just let your mind be, because the world is gonna be there when you finish, baby. It ain't going nowhere, baby. It's gonna be there. Make room, make space. Of course, handle the things you need to handle, right? You need to make sure you have food, in your stomach or whatever. But outside of that, listen, control what you can control. Everything else will take care of itself. Sustain yourself in this hour because you are needed, you are loved, and we want you to be here. That being present in and of itself is resistance in the face of an administration that does not want us here. So just being here is an act of resistance. All right. Does anyone know last recent book name and author, please state? Okay, so the last recent book, the most recent one that I just said was Words of Fire, anthology of African American feminist thought. This is by Beverly Guy Sheftall. She is the editor. She's the editor, Words of Fire. In case that's not the one you were referring to, there is Tara Hunter, To Joy My Freedom, Southern Black Women's Lives and Labors After the Civil War. This book helps us to understand what happens when Black women pulls back, and how Black women pulled back, and how they sustain themselves in their communities as they pulled back, right? Because the economy went south, right? And by the way, Black women did this while Booker T. Washington was at the Atlanta Exposition Fair talking about something, cast down your buckets where you at. And Black women was like, you can cast down your bucket. We are resting. Right? That's another story for another day. And then the other one, again, my bad. This is by Tara Hunter, To Joy My Freedom. And then it was When and Where I Enter by Paula Giddings. When and Where I Enter by Paula Giddings. Okay. Don't worry about that. We know. Okay. Let's see. Your class is great. Thank you, Nicole. Oh, Nicole, I saw you in one of the, you commented on one of the things. Thank you, Nicole, for being here. Thank you, Nicole. Didn't catch the author, but the name of the book is Words of Fire. Beverly Guy Chef Tall. Beverly Guy Chef Tall. Beverly Guy Chef Tall. Link to Dropbox. Michaela Date. I'm not sure what this means. Escape 914, but thank you. It popped up on the screen. I'm not sure if y'all saw that, but thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see. Michaela, the people are asking for the Dropbox. Again, if you are still here, is it Michaela or Michaela? I think it might be Michaela. The people are asking. Let's see. Black people have mastered the art of creating sanctuary. Listen, yes, Joanna, not only have black folks mastered the art of creating sanctuary, but listen, we know how to make $100 out of a penny. Come on, somebody, because when you have lived on the underside of society, you know how to get it done. Melissa says, amen, sustain yourself in this hour. Very, very, very true. Let's see. Hillman Talk shows us we have come on, all the resources we need is that's it. Somebody knows how to cook, somebody knows how to teach, somebody knows how to repair, somebody knows how to build. Listen, my daddy is one of the few people that I know that can build a solid house from the ground up. Now, can I build a house from the ground up? No, I cannot. But my daddy can get it done. He can do the plumbing, the electricity, and everything else. But what I can bring to the table is I can teach. What somebody else can bring to the table is they can cook. What somebody else can bring to the table, I'm not sure if my boy Morale is in here, but Morale is a human resource executive, right? I hope you don't mind me saying that, right? But that means he knows how to organize business and get business done. Marcelo Clark, who I was telling you all about earlier, community organizing, how to bring resources together and do restorative justice work, right? We are what we need. And there is that 50K likes. This was a good time. Shout out to I Just Be Thinking. They have been with me since I had like just one person. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Just been rolling with me from jump. Hey, Michaela. Okay, there's the link, y'all. Michaela hooking y'all up. Y'all see that link? Y'all grab that Dropbox link and get what you need. Shout out to Michaela. Thank you, dear sister. It says you're an absolute inspiration. I cannot. Thank you, BC MTT. I appreciate it. I'm just here trying to do my part. I'm just here trying to do my part. Let's see. Okay, we do it all. And Hillman Talk said, "Come through." Hey, that's it. All right, thank you again, Michaela. We really, really appreciate you. Yes, we don't need to prove our merit. Hello, listen, it's there. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. This has been inspiring. Oh, no problem. HR compensation here, trying to hold down equity on EE at listen. Okay, it says you welcome and then thank you for this. I love it. Okay, wonderful. So, with that being stated, my wonderful, wonderful people, we've been on here for almost 2 hours, and this is what we're going to be doing every single Saturday throughout our learning experience together. This week, we're going to jump into Cheryl Harris's Whiteness as Property, right? And this is my official signal that I'm wrapping up. So y'all make sure y'all grab that link that Michaela hooked y'all up with. Y'all make sure y'all hit up Sam and get that book list. Thank you, Scouty, for being here. But we're gonna do this each and every Saturday throughout this experience. We just gonna come together. We gonna rap. I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate y'all standing in solidarity. I appreciate us coming together and creating a place of resistance, love, and care for every single last one of us. And now what I want you to go out and do is, yes, Whiteness is Property. You can Google it. It should come right up. It's about a 100-page law essay that is in that's in Harvard Law Review, but it should be there. Samantha says I've updated the book list and will resend it out too. So there's that. So we got people in community with us that's helped keeping us on track. I am grateful. Is this reading in the link? It may be. I'm not sure, but I do know you can Google it and it should come right up. But with that being stated, what I want you to do today is I want you to join me in practicing an act of resistance by doing self-care. Get you some orange juice, get you some tea, get you some pineapple juice, get you some coffee, whatever is your thing, and find a way today to rest. And until then, I will see you all on Monday, where we will be doing week 2, lecture 1, starting off Whiteness is Property. I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for the love. And y'all, meet Sam and Michaela in one of the comments under one of the videos. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to get you there. Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful Saturday and take time for yourselves. All right, bye. Have an amazing weekend as well. Bye.